In what game can you save a talking pig, use the money you spent saving that pig to guilt yourself into buying a pub, hire a beggar off the street to run it, evict your own tenants to move into their house, get charged 80% more at the tailor because she just does not like you, and then go completely rogue and turn the guards into chickens all in the same afternoon? Fable. That is Fable. And I walked away with one concern, just one, and it is the lip syncing.
Well done.
People are expecting a hog roast, kid, and I've been preparing this pig for ages.
Right here, the mouth movements and the audio are not quite matching, and for a game this immersive, that takes you out of it a little. But this is February 2027 we are talking about. They have time to polish it. And honestly, if that is the only thing I can find to criticize after 30 minutes of gameplay, that tells you everything about where this game is. One more thing before we get into it. For years, Fable was announced for Xbox and PC only, and I will be completely honest with you, I was seriously looking into buying an Xbox just for this game. I am glad I do not have to do that anymore as it releases on PS5. Let us get into it. And if you enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing. Let's hit that 10K goal before Fable releases. Now, before we follow the 30-minute presentation beat by beat, and we are going to go through all of it, this is Playground Games, the same studio behind Forza Horizon, doing a full reboot of one of gaming's most beloved franchises. Open world, action RPG, British humor everywhere. That is Fable. We have come a long way from the previous titles, a very long way.
What? I was just, I've never even met this woman. Who is she? Look, Sonny, keep your mouth shut about this, right? My wife's at home with our little ones, and I'm supposed to be working. But a man should be entitled to do what he likes, don't you think?
The new Albion is stunning. Rolling hills, lush British countryside, fully alive settlements, over 1,000 handcrafted, fully voiced NPCs who have jobs, homes, routines, relationships, and memories of everything you have done. Not scripted dressing, real emergent behavior. Every single house in the game can be entered and bought, every one. The 30 minutes opens in Oakshire, one of 6 regions in the open world, and the first settlement we visit is Silverbrook, a peaceful farming town with an almost unhealthy obsession with vegetables. You can see it in how the villagers decorate their houses, their shops, even their scarecrows. It is the kind of world detail that makes you smile before anything has even happened. We see the character walk in, and the first thing that establishes itself is the NPC system. He approaches a stable hand named Max, who has never seen him before and has no reason to care about him. Max is completely indifferent. That is Albion, and it is immediately clear that the world does not revolve around you just because you're the hero. Then the commotion in the town square happens, and this is the moment that sold the entire 30 minutes for me before we even got to the morality system, the property empire, any of it. There is a butcher named John, there is a kid, and there is Colin, a talking pig. The butcher wants to kill Colin for a feast. The kid is begging you to stop it, and Colin himself, with full awareness of the situation, looks at you and says he has only just learned to communicate, he has potential, and he does not want to end up on a spit. Now, look, I am not going to pretend this was a difficult decision. I think it is bad luck to eat a talking pig. To be fair, it is bad luck to eat a talking anything. Fable in miniature. You can save Colin by paying the butcher 2,000 gold. You can let John kill him. You can even fight the butcher yourself if you want to go that route. 3 completely different outcomes, and every person in Silverbrook is going to form an opinion about what you did.
Let the pig live.
Yes!
Thanks, hero. I knew you'd understand.
We see him pay the 2,000 gold. Colin survives, gives him his mother's gift, and the hero walks away with reputations as virtuous and shrewd, because saving a talking pig while negotiating a fair price is apparently both the moral and the business-savvy choice simultaneously. Welcome to Fable. Now, this is where I want to talk about the morality system because it is one of the most interesting things in this entire presentation. In Red Dead Redemption 2, and I love that game, the morality system is essentially binary. You are a good man or you are a bad man. Your honor goes up or it goes down. It is clean and it works beautifully for Arthur Morgan's story, but it is black and white. Fable looks at that and says, no, that is not how the real world works. In Fable, every action generates local reputation, and here is the key. Different NPCs judge the same action completely differently based on their own values, their own background, their own worldview. Saving Colin gets you called virtuous by one person and shrewd by another. The same action, two entirely different interpretations. One person sees mercy, another sees a smart negotiation. And this plays out in real and very funny ways throughout the presentation. After saving Colin, we see him approach Jack the beggar, unemployed, down on his luck, but by all accounts a hardworking person. Jack loves the virtuous reputation, thinks he is principled. He gives him gold, then more gold. Jack is grateful. He gains a reputation for kindness and it spreads across Silverbrook. And then immediately after, he walks into the tailor and meets Rianne, who jacks up prices by 80% because she hates rich entrepreneurs and thinks he is out of touch. Same town, same person, same actions, two completely opposite reactions. That is the morality system, not a meter that goes up and down, a living, breathing collection of individual opinions that you can never fully control. And there's one more layer to this that I love. At any point, you can go to the town crier and pay gold to spread a new reputation for yourself. If you don't like what people think of you, if you've been heartless, if you've been reckless, you can literally buy your way out of it. Pay enough gold and suddenly Silverbrook thinks you're a generous philanthropist again, which raises its own question about what morality actually means when it can be purchased. Fable is not just asking you what kind of hero you want to be, it's asking you what kind of person you're willing to become to get there. There is also a moment early on where the character decides he is going to try flirting with Megan, the shopkeeper at the general store, and this is where the game gets very funny very fast. Megan is interested, she thinks he's charming. He asks her on a date, and she tells him she would date him, but he needs to be a business owner, own his own home, and only wear fancy clothes. Megan has standards, and honestly, fair enough. He's broke from saving a pig. But this sends him on this whole journey, buying the pub, managing the staff, hiring Jack, buying the house, getting the fancy clothes from Ryan, who hates him, all just to impress one woman in a general store. I found that hilarious. Although, to be fair, by the end of it, he owns a pub, a house, and has a full staff working for him. Megan did not make him do anything he was not going to do eventually. She just gave him a reason to do it faster. And if I'm being honest, I would have just gone for Susan, the bartender at my own pub. She actually likes him. No requirements, just vibes. But that's just me. Now, the clothes part of this journey takes him to the character customization screen, and this is worth mentioning because it was a big point of contention when Fable was first shown. Early reveals only showed a female hero with no option to play otherwise. That has been fully addressed. You can now change skin tone, body type, head shape, hair, and a whole lot more at any wardrobe in the game. There are over 120 different shops across Albion with their own stock and items, and rare outfits exist in the more dangerous parts of the world for those willing to go looking for them. This is a game that wants you to build something that feels genuinely yours, and the fact that they listened to the feedback and built a proper character creator is worth acknowledging. Now, let's talk about the pub purchase and the business system, because this is where Fable goes somewhere most RPGs never even attempt. We see him buy the Silver Trough, the local pub, simply by interacting with the deed on the front door. Instant ownership. From there, he can set prices, set wages, manage staff, and collect passive income from a chest inside. Susan, the bartender, is giving the pub a 10% income boost because she's great with customers. The pub is understaffed though, which is where Jack comes back in.
Got a job, if you're interested. I can probably do that, yeah.
He offers Jack a job, and here is the moment that got me. Jack stands there for about 5 seconds after being offered the job. Just standing there. I mean, I get it, being homeless has a certain freedom to it. No alarm clock, no manager, no Susan telling you to clean the taps. But eventually, Jack gets up, thanks him, and goes to work. And just like that, he's changed this man's life, from beggar to bartender, through a series of choices that started with saving a pig. That chain of consequences is what Fable does better than almost anything else in this genre. One detail I want to highlight because the presentation almost glosses over it: the income chest system. Every business you own and every property you live in has an income chest. You do not have to go to each individual location to collect your earnings. You can pull all your passive income from any single chest anywhere in the world. For a game where you could theoretically own dozens of properties across 6 regions, that is a quality of life decision that shows Playground Games actually thought about what it would feel like to manage a real property empire, rather than just build one. And there's a relationship screen where you can track every person you're connected to across all of Albion, because the game fully expects you to have multiple relationships at the same time if you want to. It would just take a while. I want to address something here because the presentation does not fully explain it, and I can already see people in the comments asking. We see him walk up to the blacksmith, starts his shift, and within a couple of minutes has earned enough gold to buy a house. That is not how it is going to work in the actual game. They specifically said in the presentation that they reduced the time limit for the sake of the video. In real gameplay, this is going to take multiple shifts over real in-game time to accumulate that kind of gold. It is a risk versus reward minigame where you hit hot spots on a sword to complete items and earn multipliers for perfect hits, and the more experience you build as a blacksmith, the better your earnings get. It is not a gold printer, it is a job. Do not go into Fable thinking you can fund your entire property empire in one afternoon at the anvil. The house purchase is where the game shows you something quietly remarkable. We see him buy a house and immediately has to decide what to do with the tenants already living there. He can let them stay and collect rent, he can give them gold and ask them to leave nicely, or he can evict them and put them on the street, which gives him a reputation for being heartless. And whoever he evicts, that person is now potentially homeless in Silverbrook, which means if he ever wants to hire them later, he can. The same person he made homeless could end up working for him. That level of systemic consequence, where your cruelty today becomes someone's story tomorrow, is exactly what made the original Fable games so memorable, and Playground Games clearly understands that. There's also a dynamic day and night cycle running throughout all of this. NPCs go home, go to sleep, show up for work, go to the pub. Fable has a time of day system that changes what people are doing at any given moment. So when he goes back to find Megan after buying the house, it is the afternoon and she's still at work. But if he had waited too long, she would have gone home to bed. The world does not wait for you. It keeps moving whether you are ready or not. And the date with Megan, when it finally happens after all of that, she loves it. He gives her flowers instead of a gift from his inventory, she finds him charming, and he asks her to make things official. She says yes, and the game immediately tells you that's not the end. You can get married, you can move her into your house, you can start a family, you can hire her for one of your businesses, or you can break up with her, or she might leave you if you make choices she cannot forgive. Every relationship in Albion is its own ongoing story, and there are over 1,000 of them. Now, here's where the presentation does something I really appreciated. After spending 25 minutes showing you what it looks like to be a decent person in Silverbrook, they flip it completely. They go back into the pub, walk up to Susan, and fire her on the spot, just like that.
Hi, Susan.
Nose to the grindstone. Love to see it.
Lovely to see you, boss.
Sorry, Susan. You're fired.
Yeah. You're fired. Sorry.
You're gonna regret that, swine.
Susan is furious. She thinks it is heartless, and she is right. But here is what Fable does that most games would not. Not everyone agrees with Susan. Some NPCs in Silverbrook actually respect the decision. Someone out there finds the heartless reputation attractive, because that is how the real world works. And then the gloves come off entirely. The character starts firing arrows at guards, takes potshots at locals, and the whole town turns against him. A bounty goes on his head. Guards keep coming in waves until he either leaves peacefully or fights his way out. The combat we see here is fast and fluid. Teleport attacks, sword fighting, magic, and bow all blending together seamlessly. The classic assassin rush ability from the original Fable is back. Enemies can be turned into chickens mid-fight, which is exactly as chaotic as it sounds. And the bounty system does not disappear when the fight ends. It stays on his head, growing with every new crime. He can pay it off immediately or wait long enough outside of town for a reduced fine, but the reputations, criminal, killer, those stick until he puts in the work to change them or visits the town crier with a lot of gold. The one honest concern, beyond the lip syncing I mentioned at the start, is the conversation speed in some of the NPC interactions. They feel slightly quick, slightly scripted in their delivery. Kotaku mentioned this too. It's not a deal breaker, but it's worth watching as we get closer to launch. This comes out early next year, and I cannot wait. All in all, this was one of the most impressive gameplay presentations I have seen in a long time. A world where you can give a beggar a purpose, fall in love, build a business empire, evict your own tenants, and burn it all to the ground if you feel like it. And every single person in Albion will have their own opinion about every single thing you do. That is Fable. What I will say is I really wish this was coming out sooner because a Lord of the Rings game was also announced recently by Weta Workshop, and I know that one isn't coming out anytime soon. A fantasy RPG this deep and this alive is exactly the kind of game that fills that void, and Fable looks more than capable of doing that. Everything I saw in 30 minutes tells me Playground Games have built something special. And if you stayed all the way to the end of this video, that kind of support is probably what makes future videos like this one happen. So hit subscribe. I will see you in the next one.